Hello, everyone. This is Sean Ellis from Eternal X Wolfpack Paranormal. And tonight we have two young ladies, which they are younger than me, so I can call them young ladies, from Haunted Happy Hour. And they will be on our show tonight. I'd like to give a big shout out to my sponsor, WROK FM radio with Rockin' Randy. Check out his show, Body Slamming Conversations. Also, Miss Tracy Jones, the Paranormal White Witch. And for the great banner I got behind me of this wolf that was created by Miss Susan Victoria, I will be on her show Wednesday night, so check that out as well. And we have a couple in the house right now. We got let's see, Randy's in the house. We've got Alicia McFadden from Eternal Paranormal in the house as well. So let's bring on our guest here, and we're going to talk about a little bit about their paranormal experience and their coffee. So let's bring on Lily and Vanessa. Hello, guys.
Hey, Sean.
Hello.
How you guys been?
Doing good. Staying busy.
Yes.
Busy as always.
Exactly. Busy is good.
We have Miss Lori Bragg in the house. Alicia, thank you for sharing out.
Hey, Alicia.
Hey.
Yeah, I met you guys through them when we were in Broadhead at the Spirits of the Spring.
Yes.
So
pretty recent that we actually got a chance to know you, Sean. So thank you to Alicia for getting this pretty much put together. I thought that show was actually really cool. That was our first time there at Broadhead. So
yeah.
really exciting.
Yeah, Broadhead is something else.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. I know.
We're going to be going there. You're coming with us, right, Sean? With that big old group of us that's going to be going?
Yep. I will be there with you guys during that time. That's coming up. I think it's like September 27th or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Lori Bragg says hello.
Alicia. Hey, Lori.
Eternal Paranormal sends out hearts. So
I think first and foremost, though, we need to intro what we're all drinking, as we usually do on the Haunted Happy Hour, right?
Oh, good idea.
All right.
We were kind of talking about it. Yeah, Sean, what are you drinking?
What are you drinking?
What am I drinking? I'm actually drinking milk out of my skull cup. But I'm sure you guys got something a little better, so let's hear it.
I love it. Hashtag milk.
Good.
Okay, so I actually have our coffee. Ooh. I know Alicia said she wanted some of our coffee as well. I saw that in the message. So I actually have our Haunted Happy Hour coffee, but it's mixed with the bourbon cream. I know Lily likes this one. This one's from the Buffalo Trace Distillery. It is amazing together.
That is probably one of my favorite drinks ever since Vanessa made this on the show. I don't even remember what episode this was on, but this was like earlier this year. She made this on the show. It was so freaking good. Got me hooked. Out there, if you have not tried this, you need to try it.
The last time I made it, though, I had whipped cream and then like a caramel sauce. This time I didn't do all that, but
like you're up good.
So
we got Miss Pam Harris in the house from
Serene
Divine. Derek McFadden from Eternal Paranormal.
Derek, what? So Lily, what are you drinking?
Yes. I don't know what to call this. I'll call it a strawberry smash, I guess.
Okay.
I got a little fancy. So I got a little fancy for today. So it's actually strawberry vodka mixed with some soda water, some lime, and actually our house-made strawberry syrup that is left over from our lovely barista Sarah, who I see is watching. Sarah,
Woo, Sarah.
over strawberry syrup.
Looks like Randall Stewart says needs some coffee to advertise on the radio and the show.
Yeah, he is one of my sponsors. So,
absolutely,
we can hook you up.
And then we got Alicia saying "yum." Sarah K saying
Sarah,
"yum."
What, Sarah?
Then we got Derek going, what? So, let's see.
Cheers, everyone. Cheers. Clink, clink, clink.
Cheers. Clink.
And then we got Save Some For Me Thursday night.
Oh, yeah. So Sarah will be over here Thursday because we have a show coming up. What is it? Saturday?
Saturday.
So we'll on Saturday. So going to be prepping for that one here pretty quick.
And that's going to be in Vinton, Iowa.
Yeah. It's the Benton County Historical Society Expo.
Yes.
So excited for that one. I know quite a few people are going to that. So we're excited.
That's awesome. You guys are doing a hell of a job with what you guys do. Like I said, you had a cool little booth there at Broadhead when I seen you guys, and you had it all laid out. And I think that was actually your first show you guys said you did, wasn't it?
There it was.
Yeah, first show at Broadhead. Our first show was actually at the Haunted Rock Island Roadhouse. So last year for the Paracon, October? That was our very first show that we did. Definitely kicked everything off for us. We're super excited, we still talk about it to this day. Like the environment, the ambiance, the energy that show brought on.
We were so pumped.
Yeah, it was so exciting.
It was unreal.
Yes.
So we'll be there again in October.
So the Rock Island Roadhouse, is that the same one me and the Eternal Paranormal Investigator?
Yeah, that's the one that you were at. Yes.
So what did you guys think about that place in general when you were there?
Oh my gosh. Well, before we even did our show, the comments are cracking me up, honestly. No, before we did our show there for the first time with our whole vendor and table, Lily and I actually went to investigate there the previous fall, I want to say. Wasn't it, Lily?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was about a year ago. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So that was our first time actually investigating there, like full on. Several hours, went through past midnight. So
it'll come out soon, Alicia. Don't worry.
No, but yeah. So there was just a lot going on when we investigated there the first time. The creepiest one, though, and I will always tell this story, in the classroom. So in the classroom, nobody knew I was a teacher or anything. And Lily and I just walk in and just show up, they're like doing a little, what was it? A voice box session, I think.
Yeah.
And so then all of a sudden it called me out because they wanted the teacher to go sit at the teacher's chair. And so I went and sat over there, and they were just asking question after question.
Yeah, we did get we got a little bit of activity out there as well.
We'll challenge ourselves.
It was really interesting. What did you guys think of the Vortex room?
So the Vortex room, is that the one in the basement?
Yeah, down the long hallway and to the left. Where you
we got so many stories. We got so many stories.
Where you seen me doing an Estes method there that night. That was
where the pool was, right, Sean?
Down around from the pool area, yeah.
Okay, so I think so this is the piece of evidence that Vanessa and I always go back to, because we've been doing this for a while. And more so than anything, kind of just going with other people. We don't really tend to do this alone, but we like to join in with other groups and kind of just tagging along for investigations. So we're not pros by any means, but we love everything about the paranormal field and learning more about it as we're honestly just heading into all of these other investigations that we're lucky enough to be a part of. But this one, Vanessa and I happen to be on our own. And so we're in the pool and kind of just asking questions, doing our own deal. And I honestly don't even remember how this came about, but we had 3 different recorders going. And somehow, in some way, nothing happened to us at that point in time. We're like, okay, great. This is awesome session. We'll go back and listen to everything that we caught, see if anything happened. I think it was the next day when we finally got a chance to kind of start going through some of the evidence. I was listening to one recorder. Vanessa was listening to another one. She texted me. She's like, oh my gosh, I caught something. And I'm like, oh, did you really? Because I haven't caught anything. Like, what timestamp are you on? I want to see, if I can get anything on my recorder. And so I'm going back to mine. She's telling me the timestamp, not finding anything. I'm like, okay, that's awesome. So it's something that's just on yours. All right, send it to me. And then so she goes to send it to me. And I'm not kidding you. This went on in circles, her trying to send it to me.
It was lost in translation, really.
For a good day. It was like a good day. And I honestly thought she was being dumb. Like, I'm like, you're being like technologically, I don't know, dumb at the moment. You're not understanding how to send an MP3 file. So I'm like, stop it. I'm like, just send it. It's not that hard. Send the file. And she's like, I am.
I'm like, I already did. It is.
And she's sending me screenshots of her sending the file. And I'm like, okay, so she's doing everything right. I'm not understanding why I'm not getting it. And then eventually, I think it was the next day, you're like, screw it. I'm just coming over to your house and I'm going to play it for you live and in person.
Because for some reason, it wasn't sending correctly. Like, it was sending. It was. But like something was not wanting, let's say, to
I just kept sitting there circling, thinking about it.
It was odd. It was super odd.
The thing that I kept getting hung up on was she was telling me that the clip, and I will never forget this, was 1 minute and 38 seconds long. But when I would get it, it was like 1 minute and 2 seconds, or not even a minute. And I'm like, okay, I'm not getting the full file. Something's goofy. And so I kept playing it, and it wasn't the full file. So eventually she comes over and she plays it for me. And I'm like, holy crap, I never got this. And so we're freaking out. We're like, oh my God, this is something legit. And it was crazy because none of the other recorders caught what we caught on the one recorder. And really what it was, it's very hard to explain, but it sounded like, to me at least, it sounded like you were in a normal room, like as if right now you're recording yourself and you can kind of hear the ambient noise, which, even if you're quiet, you still hear noise. And so you hear the ambient noise and all of a sudden you hear like a shift. It was like a sharp shift. And then you hear absolutely nothing, like everything cut out. And then all of a sudden you start hearing like a beeping sound.
It's almost like you're in a void or something. It's really weird. Yeah,
it sounded like, and I don't know what a portal sounds like. Okay, I don't know what a portal sounds like.
Oh, come on, Lily, you've been there.
when that shift happened, it sounded like you were getting sucked into a portal, and all of a sudden it was dead ass quiet. You hear the beeping, and then you hear water dripping. And all of a sudden we're like, holy crap, this was in the pool. And then so we're listening the whole entire time. And then all of a sudden it sounds like somebody was sucked into the bottom of the pool. Like, like when you jump into the pool and all of a sudden it sounds kind of like muffled and you can hear stuff, but it's very muffled because you're in the water. That's what it sounded like.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it jumped back. Like you got sucked back out of the portal and then you're back into the ambient noise.
Yeah.
We're like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, that's
like almost awesome. Like it shifted us to make us feel or make us hear or realize where they were or where it was or whatever it was,
Mhm.
you know, just the feeling, the vibe. It was very interesting. So of course we were like, oh my gosh,
Yes.
we got something. So we were freaking out.
Yeah, it was cool. That was by far my most favorite piece of something, honestly.
Right.
That we called.
And then Lily got a picture of me with like my face distorted.
That's right.
In one of the rooms.
That's right.
Because she just kept snapping picture after picture.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden she's like, oh my God, I don't want to show you this. She's like,
Yeah.
don't freak out. But so then
It
she
looked-
showed me.
like your face was like morphing into something.
Yeah. Slowly, like each image started changing. It was weird.
That's interesting. It's kind of like
Mhm.
scrying. In the technique of scrying, but you look into a mirror.
Oh.
But
Totally.
one of the things I thought was interesting, Derek and I went down to the vortex room because I've never been there, so he took me down there, and we were sitting in the vortex room way before the investigation even started, and we were sitting there just kind of talking, and all of a sudden I heard like a girl talk.
Oh.
And he's like, yeah, I heard that. And I was like, okay. And then all of a sudden, you know how people scuff their feet across concrete?
Mhm.
Well, we thought maybe the girls were down there,
Hmm.
you know, because they were upstairs and me and Derek's the only one who went downstairs. We thought maybe the girls come down there just kind of screw with us and scare us. But it sounded like something scuffing. So I said, just wait here a second. I said, just hold on a second. See if we kind of hear anything else. But then we got up, we looked around the corner. So I kind of gave them enough time. If it was somebody, we could see them toward the end of the hall.
Mhm.
Or see
wow.
a shadow or something move where we could watch it. But when we turned the corner, me and Derek saw nobody. There was nobody there. We walked all the way down the hall. We turned the corner. We started going to the left. We'd never seen anybody with any shadows. So it was just me and him down there. And it actually sounded like, I should say, the scuff marks of somebody going across concrete.
Jeez.
That's crazy. That reminds me.
I think I know what you're gonna say. The boot sounds.
Yes, that happens too. It was, I don't remember when we were there. This was a separate time. It was me, you, and Sarah were there investigating.
Yeah.
And we were up in one of the classrooms and we're just sitting there, honestly, just the three of us just sitting there, just talking. Like we weren't investigating at that point in time. We're just having a normal conversation. And all of a sudden in the hallway, like behind us, we heard like footsteps and we're like, what the heck was that? Like, did we just seriously hear that? So we all just quieted down and then we kept hearing it. Like it was getting closer. Mm-hmm. And didn't we hear one of the doors?
Yeah.
Like, squeak
and
open?
Those are heavy doors. Those are really heavy doors. Yeah.
Yes. The door. Yes. Sarah just said, and the door. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So that was wild. That was wild.
Yeah. Me, Alicia, and I think it was Tiffany was sitting up in that classroom and we heard something outside that classroom, like rattling around the corner. Because if you go out that door to that classroom, it splits up and it goes to the left and it goes into that big kind of conference area, if I remember right.
Yes.
And we heard something going through there and Alicia got up and was looking around and was like, wasn't nothing there either. So that there's a lot of activity there.
Well, you just asked, was it the small one to the left? And yes, I believe that was it.
The odd metal rattling. That's what it was when Alicia got up that night. But yeah, we were all up there just in, like I said, in that teacher's room where the desk and stuff was. She heard it, I heard it, and Tiffany heard it. And she got up and looked around. Wasn't nothing up there except that rattle.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that too, because the ones going down that main hall to the right, those little doors in the walls, don't kind of sound like somebody, like Alicia said, banging on it. So it was interesting.
And, I saw, Sean, that you did an Estes method by yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
How was that?
Yikes.
It was interesting because I kept hearing certain things, and I would say what I heard because I had to sit there, and you know how you do when the Estes, you got to pick out and decipher.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept hearing certain things, and they had the walkie-talkie down there, and I had my headphones on, and you couldn't hear nothing. It was connected to this the soundproof thing and stuff that Derek had me set up with, so I couldn't hear nothing. But when I got back and I looked at the footage of what Alicia was doing and what they were asking me,
yeah,
and like I said, they were clear upstairs and I was downstairs, and it was kind of coinciding, and it was pretty cool. And Alicia come down there because I was kind of almost in a trance, almost it seemed like, because I normally don't jump or anything, but I was sitting there and I was, filming what I was doing down there. And Alicia come around the corner and she tapped me, and I actually kind of jumped up, and I'm like, what? I was kind of like in a daze at that point. So she's like, you need to come up here, But I mean, I have enough energy that I'm not really worried about getting any attachments like that. But she said you were out of it, dude. But,
she's being honest.
Yeah, I mean, she came down there and got me, but like I said, it's all good. And she did scare me. I will admit that. She got me to jump. But yeah, it was definitely interesting, and especially after I seen what they got from upstairs compared to what I was saying, and it was all coinciding. So that was definitely interesting.
Those are so wild.
That place is awesome. That is by far my favorite location.
It's up there. It's up there. It's in the top two because I do like Broadhead as well. Because when I was at Broadhead and Bill was giving us a tour of where to go and where not to go, and we got down by the boiler room, and everybody's just kind of standing around. I'm kind of like, well, why is everybody just kind of standing here? Well, I seen somebody walk up the stairs, and then they went to the right. Well, the dog followed the person up and went to the right. So I followed everybody up, and I went to the right. The dog was sitting there. There was no person sitting there, and all three or those doors were locked right there. You couldn't get in them.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
Yeah. So that was interesting. I mentioned it to Bill, and Bill said, well, you must have seen the janitor down in that area.
Oh, God.
So, but yeah, the dog followed it up and just sat there right in the corner, and I could turn the corner, and the dog's sitting right there, and I'm like, okay, doors are locked, nobody here.
Yeah, so. I will say that area is creepy because I remember Derek took me over that way just to show me around. That place is super creepy.
Yeah, Ashmore, that's on my list to go to as well.
Love Ashmore.
Ashmore is great. Like, God, I feel like, so that was Vanessa and I's first, like, legit overnight investigation. So we were.
I watched that podcast. I think you guys were live that night.
Yeah.
So that one was really exciting. Like, there was a lot of activity, definitely. Even when we slept, like in the bunk area, that was the craziest thing to me. Like, being in the bunk area, and I swear we all heard like knocks and random things happening at night when we were sleeping. So that was really crazy. And the whole thing with the tree, we're out in the back doing some kind of a session. I know Alicia and Derek were doing some sort of like a flashlight session out there with the tree and everything. I am not kidding you. When they were asking questions, like it seemed like we were just all of a sudden surrounded by like spirits or by shadows. Somehow it's like very unexplainable, but it got pitch black.
It got way darker. It was wild. I've never seen that.
There was no lights. And there was no explanation for that.
Yeah, I could not believe that.
I can take you ladies to a cemetery. It's called Salem Cemetery. It's up by Chillicothe.
Mm-hmm.
And when you walk into there, it's kind of somewhat normal.
Mm-hmm.
But the more you kind of walk into it, the darker it gets, and you can't see in front of your hand.
Oh wow!
We've done a live from there, and we've caught a few strange things in there, and a lot of strange sounds that one of my teammates caught as well. But yeah, I've been to 2 cemeteries that are similar to that, and like I said, we parked at one cemetery. We parked our cars down by the road, and we walked up a hill up to the cemetery and walked in. But then you turn around, it got so dark you couldn't even see your cars sitting.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
that is nuts.
It's just like it just gets black when you go in there. It's the strangest thing, but it's cool.
Wow!
And Salem Cemetery is definitely one of those up by Chillicothe.
I feel like I've heard of that. I feel like I've heard of Chillicothe Cemetery. Where is that, Sean?
It's kind of, if I remember right, it's like east of Chillicothe, in that area up over the bridge, going down by the river area in that part.
Okay.
And then you got Blue Ridge going down to the Blue Ridge Cemetery down there. And it kind of does the same thing. The farther you go in, the darker it gets. And we've done a live from there before too.
Wow.
Wow.
Me, Lisa, and Leslie was down there. But yeah, it's weird on, like you said, you walk so far and it just seems like it just keeps getting darker and darker and darker. And then you turn around, it's just pitch black almost, and you can't.
Wow. Also at Ashmore, though, that was our first Estes method.
Yes,
right?
That
was so wild. So Lily went first, and you were in I don't know, somebody's room. I don't even remember.
I don't even remember where I was.
Hyperventilating.
Well, I'd hope not, because out there in that place, if you go to Salem, you're out in BFE. I mean,
nowhere to run. Nowhere to hide, Sarah.
Yeah, you're out in BFE. You're going to have to go sit in the car because you're out in no man's land there.
No, but yeah, so Lily was on a bed.
I don't remember what room I was in, though.
I don't either.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, yeah, the old caretaker.
The old caretaker. There we go.
Yeah, so Lily went for it first, and then you were bringing up a lot of good info. You kept saying a number.
Yes, I remember that. I don't remember the number though. I don't remember that.
I
remember the feeling of kind of just doing the session. It was something that was just crazy. Like it's such a weird, intense feeling. Like you really feel, and it's weird to kind of talk about it though, but you really do feel like you're making some sort of a connection with somebody.
Like you're feeling the way that those whoever it was feeling.
Yeah.
Because your feeling was amazing. Like yours was just like calm. And mine was like, I had like palpitations. My heart was racing. I felt like I was going to have a heart attack.
Yes. Oh my God, Sarah, you are right. Okay. So I remember talking to Sarah about this. And in mine, I did feel at peace and very relaxed. Like it was such a weird feeling because you're in the dark, you're laying on this old rickety kind of frame of bed.
Yeah, wiry.
I felt at peace. I felt very relaxed. And I felt kind of like just an odd feeling that you're making a connection with somebody in a different world. So mine was very good. Like I had a really good session. But Vanessa,
nice.
not. We moved on to like a different room. I don't even I don't remember what room that was.
I don't remember what room either. But yeah, I felt like as though like they were trying to tell me something, like the way they felt, like just whatever happened in that room, it wasn't good, obviously, but I felt anxious. I felt like something was wrong and something was going to happen. And whatever it was actually was trying to make a connection with Alicia, because whatever I was saying was really hitting home with her. And it just really made a connection with her from whatever the last time they were there, Eternal Paranormal.
Mhm.
So yeah, and so when I remember when I was over, I lifted up the the little what is it,
Blindfold?
the blindfold, and everyone's face is just like their jaws are dropped. I'm like, what happened? I have no idea. What did I do?
I remember that. Like, we were
Yeah.
all super just surprised that like everything that just happened. Alicia's almost in tears.
Yeah.
Because it was
Of the
such
connection of whatever.
for her.
Yeah.
And so everybody's just like, oh my God. And I think at that point we were doing a live. I think we were doing a live at that point.
We were.
And I remember you saying, oh my God, like my heart was like
I felt like I ran a race. Like seriously, like I could feel it, and then after a while, finally calmed down. But it took a while.
Yes, Alicia was crying. It was a crazy session.
Yeah.
Definitely. So that's strange. Speaking of objects, since you guys have been to Broadhead Manor and you just talked about laying on some type of a cot there, or a bed.
Yeah.
Have you guys got to lay like on the embalming table at Broadhead yet, or anywhere else?
No, but is that something we should do?
I remember when we were up there for Spirits in the Spring, Bill was walking me around for a little bit. I think there was like a little bit of downtime, so Bill was giving me like a little tour of the building. And he showed me over where the embalming table used to be. And I'm like, holy crap. He's like, it'll be back. I think it was put away. I don't remember what happened. But he's like, oh, if you get a chance, though, you should lay on it. And I was like, no, I will do that.
Mental note.
I actually got to lay on that table. And I took 2 cat balls and put them in my hand and tried to lay and then sat perfectly still. And I don't know who did it, but they stuck a REM pod down by my legs. The cat balls were going off.
Oh my gosh.
And the REM pod was somewhat going off, flickering a little bit. But it felt like somebody was holding my head in place on that table.
Oh, wow.
It's just like staying there. And Bill told me later, he says, you do realize probably 3/4 or most of the cemetery has probably been embalmed on that table because it did come from the funeral home.
Dang.
So we're doing that. That's what Alicia said.
I actually got to do that again at Bell Mansion when I was up there investigating. They had an embalming table there that I laid on, and it actually felt like it was touching my ankles at that time, just holding them in place. And it was like, whoa. So yeah, there was definitely some energy coming off both tables at both locations.
Yeah. Hey, Tiffany.
We've done a great job. We've done different experiences and tried new things like playing cards. Yeah.
I agree with Tiffany. I think this is like one of the big reasons, like, number one, we love Eternal Paranormal. Love you guys. All
hearts.
You guys are the best. Hearts. Hearts and love eyes. But they do really cool stuff with their investigations. Like they do stuff that you wouldn't normally see.
Yeah, exactly. They think outside of the box. There was some stuff that they brought up while we were there, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I would have never thought of doing that.
Yeah. I love it. Alicia has like the best ideas, I feel. It's like
she does.
It's always a fun experience to do an investigation with them.
Yeah,
They do come up with some pretty interesting stuff, like the fog machine when we were there the last time that they came up with. And
I saw that on one of the lives, but I think I jumped in halfway through, so I didn't see what the fog machine was doing. So what was the fog machine for, Sean?
Well, they wanted and I wanted to see if we could actually see a spirit come through a portal.
Wow.
So if the way it's fogged, to see if we could actually see something up here. So that was a good thing that they did. I thought that was a really cool way they did it.
That's really cool.
and I was talking to Derek about maybe making like a PVC pipe doorway with little holes in it and then connecting it, and then it just kind of limiting the fact that it's going in one place.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
that would be cool.
Yeah, I see
it. A cool frame with the fog coming through.
Like a little arch or something.
Yeah, like a little puncture.
That's cool.
But I mean, the way they had it set up was really cool because they had the mirrors down there too, and they had the laser grids, and that's where I did that Estes down there. But it's pretty interesting. And they've said they played Uno with the spirits and stuff like that.
Yeah, we were gonna do that when we were at Ashmore. We just ran out of time. We had so much going on that we were doing.
Yeah.
And then Alicia's talking about that. Yeah. I remember at one point, Lily and I forgot what floor it was, Lily. Like we went on maybe the 3rd floor. I don't remember. Anyway, we were trying to connect with the spirit of the little girl. And I put on YouTube some like Wheels on the Bus or Humpty Dumpty songs, things like that. And we were getting little sounds and stuff. So that was cool.
Yeah. Like I said, Alicia and those guys do come up with some pretty unique techniques. And like I said, it's pretty awesome how they come up with stuff.
Yeah.
Because I mentioned to them about cards one time, and they said, yeah, we've done it. And I actually had an opportunity at Bell Mansion when we were there. We had a REM pod sitting in a table between the 4 of us, and we had the light set up facing each one of us. So like one light was for us and etc. And we were playing poker.
Oh, wow.
And the funny thing about it, it would light up on the person that it was going to win.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was me, Andy from Ghost Sisters, Lori Bragg, and my former lead from my older team. And we were all sitting there playing poker, and it would literally light up who would win.
That's so cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we just tried it right off the bat that night, and we thought that was awesome. We were sitting there playing because it was like a poker room that we were in Bell Mansion where it was at, and we just here's some cards and set that REM pod in there, and it would actually light up to who was going to win.
That's awesome. Maybe that'll be a good trick to bring to the casinos.
Might scare him away. He might make some more money. What's my buddy here? No. He's telling me all the numbers right next to her. So, yep.
You never know who you get, right? That's going to play with you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Alicia. That's right.
That's who it was. Elva. The little girl.
That we were communicating with. Yes.
Yeah.
Remember even when we went to get in the car to leave. So it was me, Vanessa, and Alicia. We were all in one car heading back home. And what was it, Vanessa? The music.
So the music. You were trying to play one, I don't know. You were trying to play one playlist, and then all of a sudden we had like Wheels on the Bus or something.
Like it would switch back. We're like,
it would not stop. It would not stop switching over.
Computer gremlins are your friend. Is sitting there playing with it. Right? When it comes to that, I was like computer gremlins at their best. But then again, I've seen some strange stuff. I mean, but yeah, that's interesting. That's very cool. So, all right, what is your favorite location that you guys been at, and one of the scariest things you've seen there?
Quarters 1 on the Arsenal. Okay. We always talk about that. We've talked about it on our show as well. One of our team members at the time, so we were novice. We didn't know really all the protocols that we were supposed to have.
It's like, how many years ago was this? This was like 15 years ago. Like, I swear it was like 10, 15 years ago.
In a way, like we talk about it on our podcast about how we were very novice. We didn't really know, what all could happen, what all could follow us home, what have you, what all could, occur on site. Well, anyway, so we all separated And then one of our team members was in a different room, and all of a sudden we hear another team member yelling for us. We're like, Lily, Vanessa, Lily, like to see whoever showed up. Well, something happened where the one team member, she was very, very sensitive, or is very sensitive, and she just uncontrollably started crying, could not stop. We had to take her out of the building for her to calm down. She was just very, she just couldn't stop. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know what was happening. This was the first time that we've ever seen something like this before. So that person stopped investigating totally. But, from then on, I mean, that was kind of like, for us, a clue or a sign that, hey, we have to do other things in order to either protect ourselves, or protocols to take when we're on site, or what to do, or what could happen. I mean, that was something that, kind of hit home with us. We'll never forget that moment. That was kind of one of our more serious moments. But yeah, so we talk about that one on our show. What about you, Lily?
Well, that was the first one that I went to. I mean, I think it was, it's funny because, so obviously I love Quarters 1, but my favorite location is the Roadhouse, just because of the experiences that we had there.
Hey, Susan.
But for the experience that we had at Quarters 1, that will forever be like just solidified in my mind because of what happened to us and to our team. And I mean, it essentially broke up our team at that point in time. And it took a lot for us to kind of get back into it because of, like Vanessa, how she said, at that point in time, we were just kind of going along and doing what we wanted to do, not really paying attention to what should be happening. I mean, obviously, when you're kind of new to the field and you're just really excited to find out what there is and kind of start communicating with what there is, but you don't really prepare yourself for communicating with what could possibly be negative, or with dealing with people that have abilities and kind of helping them through their whole kind of journey, because these people with abilities do face something different. And obviously, because Vanessa and I don't really have those sensitive types of abilities or empathic types of abilities, we didn't know, okay, this is what we should do to help this team member.
Yeah.
And kind of seeing that happen to them, it just kind of stopped us for a brief moment in time and was like, okay, before we even move forward and keep doing any of this, we should probably think about this a little bit more and kind of understand a little bit more what needs to be done and how we should go about doing things properly. To this day, like we still talk to this team member, and we still always try to be like, oh, do you want to come with us? Do you want to come do? And obviously they won't. They won't do it again. So we do kind of feel bad at the fact that we kind of turned them off from this whole kind of field. But at the same time, I think they kind of had their fill of it. We've done previous investigations with them, and they experienced quite a bit of activity no matter where we were. So it was always an exciting time. We were up in Galena doing some investigations at the DeSoto, and another great location, the DeSoto. But I think it's the spirit of another little girl that was little girl or a little boy, I don't remember. Some in the boiler room area.
Yeah.
And, because this team member at the time was the youngest, the little kid kept going over to this team member, and we're like, oh my God, like this is really great. We're getting all of this activity. But yeah, I mean, at least now at this point in our lives, and in this point in our kind of understanding a little bit better of the paranormal, we do kind of take caution and do take the steps to understand a little bit more of what you should do to honestly do this the proper way and to have respect for no matter who it is or what it is that you're communicating with. And I think we talk about that a lot in our podcast as well.
Right.
Because I know when we started the podcast, again, we kind of started it more as kind of just an outlet for Vanessa and I to talk about anything and everything that we wanted to with regards to the paranormal. And we didn't imagine that it would turn into what it did. It was more of just something fun for us to do once a week and just chit chat about specific locations.
It was like a hobby.
Yeah. And then it got really into almost, at least for me, kind of like a more of like an educational outlet. So it gave me reason to learn more because I wanted to be able to educate the listeners and in the process, obviously educate myself with regards to whether it was specific locations or just the field in general. Yeah. And I'm thankful for that with respects to the podcast because it did kind of give us that ability to do that.
Right.
So
on those regards,
Aaron Hoffman in the house here.
Yep.
And not to cut you off there. We did have a question here.
I was just about to bounce off that. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
This one right here. Yeah.
Yep.
Have you ever had one to deal with an attachment that followed you home?
Luckily, no. Although how novice we were initially, and I'm embarrassed to talk about it, we were so silly, but luckily, no, we did not have, an attachment. Though lately, now that we've gotten more into the podcast, like Lily talks about, we've educated ourselves on the podcast. We talk about the steps that we do take. So before we enter a building, we usually do say like a little ritual. When we leave, when we exit, we say a ritual. We have our crystals. I know, Sean, the last time that we saw you kind of, had your crystals and you were helping us out as well. So we were kind of talking to you about that. But yeah, I mean, those are steps that we do take ourselves.
Well, I will add, while I'd never had anything attach itself to me and follow me home from an investigation, I did end up having, I don't even know what to call it, but activity in my home in my apartment because of what I believe to be some sort of, I don't know, otherworldly practices going on.
That's right. We talk about this one on our show.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a good one.
When I used to live in Chicago, I lived in an apartment and it was there was a courtyard in the middle of the building. So it was kind of like a horseshoe shaped building. And so my apartment faced another apartment and I lived in there for years and never really had anything happen. And it wasn't until there was some new tenants that moved in, I randomly, just because the apartment didn't have curtains, I would walk by through my dining room and just glanced over one day. It was nighttime, so I happened to glance over and you could see people sitting at a table in the dark in like a circle. It was like a circle table and you could see candles like around the table. And I remember
all binoculars like this. What's going on over there?
I remember thinking.
Knock on the window. Hey, come on.
I remember thinking, okay, that's odd. But
just a little bit.
To each their own. Like if that's
whatever,
go ahead. So I'm like, okay, cool, you do you. So I went about my night. And a couple of days after that, there was 2 other people in the apartment with me. So the 3 of us were in that apartment. And a couple of nights after that, we started having weird things happening in the apartment. Like one day, I think I was home alone and we had a stack of just like pans on the countertop, and they were there forever. I swear, since the beginning of time, they were there sitting. And nothing ever happened to them until this day. All of a sudden, I heard a huge crash in the kitchen. And I went to go see, and these pans had all been knocked over. I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, that's weird. I'm like, okay, well, I just picked them up. Didn't think anything of it. The next day, I had left for work. I come back home, and the TV was on, but the TV was on static. And so I'm like, okay, that's really weird. So I turned it off again, went about my day. And then this is what got me. So at night, I'm sleeping, and all of a sudden, like, I get woken up out of like a deep sleep, and I can smell like sulfur. I'm like, what the heck is that smell? I didn't know that's what it was. Right. So I'm like, what is that? And so it woke me up, though. And so I get up. I'm walking around the apartment thinking, oh, my God, is there a fire? And so I'm walking around the apartment. Everything looks fine. One of my other roommates at the time gets up at the same time. They didn't hear me, but they got up and they're like, oh my God, I didn't know you were up. I smelled something. And I'm like, what does it smell like? And he's like, it smells like sulfur. I'm like, oh my God, that's what I smell too. And then so we open up the door, the hallway, and we're looking around, obviously everything's fine in the building. We close the door. We're like, that's really weird. There's no reason we should be smelling this. And so didn't know what to make of it. Whatever, fell back asleep, and that was that. A couple nights later, I end up having a dream where there was like this wolf that was just like, it was like a demonic wolf, like was just staring at me, and it like paralyzed me. It was like one of those like paralyzing dreams where you couldn't move, and freaked me out like crazy. And after we kind of, all of us roommates started piecing all of this together, we're like, those people in the other apartment, do we think they're doing something? Because this is a little bit odd. And it was probably, this happened like over like months time span.
Right.
And the other roommates would experience odd things to them as well. And one of them one of them had trouble sleeping constantly. So that was his big issue. Eventually these people moved out, like the other tenants moved out, and never experienced anything ever again after that. So we're like, what was that? Was that really something? Did they do something? Like, did they bring something with them?
Right.
So that was very odd.
So to me, it kind of sounds like either they were doing a seance like Alicia was talking about, or they were playing with Ouija boards and not knowing what was going on. So that's definitely interesting. I'm going to go back to another question here by Deadpool up here. Are there any particular ways to protect people that have those heightened abilities? Now, I use crystals and stuff like that to protect me. How do you ladies go about that?
Well, we do the same thing.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, because so we talked to our old team member, and that is something that they very much swear by. They are big believers in the various crystals and what they're used for, in the kind of appropriate kind of rituals for these crystals. So that is, we know for a fact that is what they use. So that's kind of as much as we really know about it. I know that Vanessa and myself, although we don't have abilities, we do very much believe in the crystals. So we do actually have our own kind of packs of crystals that we do take with us whenever we do investigations, or whenever we have other people joining us, we do kind of share those with them as well. So that's kind of what we like to use.
Right.
Yeah, and that person actually has told me, oh, you should take this with you when you go do XYZ, or here's this ring that I found, use it, or things like that. Yes, that's what you had shown us. Yep. Exactly.
I got my pack of stuff right there.
Exactly. The ghost busting kit.
I carry several different stones with me when I'm out And
Sean's packing heat there.
That and some obsidian. I like obsidian. So
Yeah,
it's definitely with your vibration and crystals. And yeah, I definitely will agree with that. I had a mentor teach me all about that, and she did an amazing job. So, and I, thank her for that. She taught me very well with stuff like that. We're at the top of the hour. So let's talk about your coffee for a little bit here.
Yeah,
let's do.
I noticed that you have several different kinds, which is kind of common. Who's the chemist? Who's the one that's the guinea pig?
We're all guinea pigs, aren't we?
I think we all are.
Yes.
So I don't know if Sarah's here with us anymore, but Sarah is she's our little barista.
Yeah.
And she's the one that kind of comes up with all the different fun concoctions. So Vanessa and I will be like, ooh, we think a flavor like this and this would be good. And then Sarah goes and she kind of mixes it together.
Mixes it all up.
Makes it taste good. Yes, you are.
She's a mad scientist. Yeah, she is.
So it's like she kind of takes what we kind of give her and actually goes and makes sense of it. And so she's the one that comes back with all these really great tasting flavors. Another reason, kind of tying it back to the haunted Rock Island Roadhouse. So when we did kind of the kind of exploratory session with Lisa Viner and Candy over at the Roadhouse to kind of have this coffee for them. So for anybody that's not aware, in addition to doing our own, obviously, coffee lines for Haunted Happy Hour, we also do our Coffee with a Purpose line. So Coffee with a Purpose, we partner with historic haunted locations and create a specific special blend for them. And with the purchase of every bag, some of the proceeds go back to this location. So we're kind of giving back to these locations through obviously our coffee. So we did that with the Roadhouse. And so we're like, hey, let's kind of have a chat. And we'll kind of talk about what flavors you guys want to try to throw into this blend. So when we did that call, we actually had John Looney and Helen Van Dale come into our exploratory coffee session and give their own feedback, which was really cool. So we were able to kind of create different samples for them to try, and the winning blend was the one that Helen Van Dale actually requested herself, which was the Black Forest. So this Black Forest cake that we are having for the Roadhouse is specifically because of Helen Van Dale. So that is her flavor.
You can check it out on our Facebook page if you want to look at the label. Check it out. Pre-orders. You can also check out the Facebook on Haunted Roadhouse.
Yes.
If you're interested. Yes, she wanted something cherry.
It is amazing.
It is amazing. It is. It's great.
So Sarah kind of is our little scientist and makes everything make sense and tastes really good.
And we get to taste them. So we love that part too. Quality control is what we call it.
So let me ask you this. What is the strangest combination you guys have created that you thought was like, oh, wow, and then ended up being, oh, wow, this is actually pretty good?
Okay, wow, so I know for me, okay, I don't like coconut.
Oh, man, I like coconut.
I hate coconut. But, so Sarah set up a blind taste test for us. She's like, okay, we need to come up with a new blend, our limited edition blend for the season, which was the summer. And so we gave her a couple of recommendations. Hey, I want this, 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 and this. And so she's like, all right, cool. I'll make something for you guys and I'll throw in a couple of extras. So then we did a blind taste test. I ended up picking the coconut. She's like, that's why I did a blind taste test. Because I knew if you knew it was coconut, you weren't going to want it.
Yeah.
That's what ended up winning out, which is why we have the pina colada right now.
Yes.
So I unintentionally chose the pina colada blend, even though I don't like coconut, but it tastes delicious.
Yes, you can go on our, again, Facebook page, our website, check that out because it's almost gone.
Haunted Happy Hour.
Limited edition.
Yes.
So what is your biggest seller then? Is it the pina colada one?
Our biggest seller is actually the bourbon.
Yes,
so
the bourbon.
The bourbon is one of our signature blends, and that is by far our biggest seller. Yeah.
Right.
It says just like you say, you don't like brisket.
That's true. We went out to eat one day. The three of us went out to eat, and we're like, Sarah, just pick something. I don't care what you pick, just pick something. And so she ended up picking these brisket nachos. I always told her I don't like brisket.
Yeah.
I don't like brisket.
I don't like brisket either.
And then neither one of us likes brisket. And so she picked the brisket nachos, didn't tell us what it was. And so we're eating it. We're like, oh, this is really good. What is it? And she's like, it's the brisket. And we're like, oh, okay.
Okay.
It's good.
I guess we like brisket.
Yeah, brisket nachos are actually really good.
They're very good, surprisingly.
Yeah, there's a couple places here in Galesburg that make some kick-ass nachos.
Oh, I'm all about nachos.
Yes, love nachos.
My previous girlfriend that passed away, I used to make some nachos all the time, and she liked the way I made them, and they'd be piled up like this. And
yum! Love it, love it.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah. So
that's delicious.
That was one of her favorite things that I made all the time. It was nachos because I would put like green peppers, red peppers, onions, everything in it, and then I put the 3 types of cheese and everything else, and yeah.
No, but in addition to our coffee, we also have our merch, our shirts, which Lily is wearing one of our shirts.
I'm wearing one.
I'm wearing one of our shirts.
Yes, Nightmare Before Coffee.
This is this is one of our latest that we have.
Prepared with the merch. Good for you.
Thank you.
What does it say? Dead inside what?
Dead inside but caffeinated.
Oh, hell yeah. I can relate to that on some days.
Like, so yeah, we have
that. And so that goes along with Sarah's last comment here. So we also actually just partnered with a retailer, Proper On State, in Rockford, Illinois. So they are actually carrying our coffee and our t-shirts. So if anyone is in the Rockford, Illinois area, definitely check out that cute little shop. It has the cutest things in addition to our merch and coffee.
And like Sarah is saying, stay tuned for our fall flavors coming up.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Congratulations, guys. You've come a long ways. That's awesome.
I know. We were just talking about this just a couple of days ago. I think it was after the Lennox Paranormal conference that we were at.
Yeah.
In where was that? In blank.
Drawing a blank.
Hopkinton.
Yeah. Hopkinton.
Okay, so we were just talking about how it hasn't even really been a year for us, and we've been so kind of just lucky, honestly, to be able to get to where we are now with the podcast and the coffee and kind of doing what we like to do. Because I mean, in all reality, yeah, we all have normal day jobs, but this is our passion and this is what we like to do. So we hope to make this be our normal day job one day. So we're trying to make it happen. Hopefully it will come true.
Well, it seems like you guys are definitely on the right path. And like I said, congratulations to you guys. like I said, you do some great work, and like I said, even with your coffee stuff and etc. now coming out, so it's pretty awesome.
Thanks,
I mean,
Sean.
we're also on the verge of having T-shirts. I've sent out some prototypes already to about 3 people.
Oh, that's so
cool.
They seem to like them really well, so we're going to end up going with that. And like I said, I've got a couple sponsors there from like Rock and Randy from WROK FM, and Tracy Jones, the White Witch Paranormal. Like I said, they've been advertising stuff for me over in the Las Vegas area and stuff like that. So that's pretty awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's really cool,
And,
John.
But one of my friends said at the beginning of the year, and I told him, I said, stay positive, stay up, and go. And I said, things are going to break loose. And so far they are. Everybody that's putting in the work, you're seeing it, the effort. You can see the effort that's going into it. And it takes a lot of time to, do a podcast, find your guest, and do all the stuff you're doing and everything in the background as well. So, I mean, like I said, I got to give credit to all of us that do this and do the podcast, because it is a lot of work.
It is, definitely.
It's a heck of a lot of work. Unintentionally, we took a break. And I think it was right before Spirits in the Spring, just because we got to see with Spirits in the Spring. And Sarah's gonna hop off. Thanks for joining, Sarah. Have a good night.
We'll definitely have you guys on again, so she's gonna have to come on next round.
But yeah, so ever since Spirits, it's funny because
we've been super busy.
Yeah, we've been lucky enough to be really busy. We took
a field trip.
Oh, we did. We went to Salem, Massachusetts for my birthday in June. So that was kind of one of my bucket list locations, areas, trips to take, and finally did it. And super, super great. Like,
so we've been so busy. The field trip, then the shows. So yeah.
Frangelico.
Oh yeah.
Frangelico. What is this? What is this?
What is this concoction? I love it though. Sounds great.
It sounds fun. It sounds fun. We'll look into it, Randall.
We're into it.
So, but yeah. He can come up with some good ideas. Like I said, he's one of the sponsors of my show. He does a great job and he helps me out. So he does, like I said, he does an amazing job. He said, liquor.
It's right up your alley. We're sold.
We need to do it. Yeah. Yeah.
We'll make it happen.
So, all right, ladies. Anything you'd like to put out here before we end the show and promote before we end the show?
So, like we kind of mentioned in the beginning, we are going to be at the Benton County Historical Society Expo. It's here in Benton, Iowa. That is the 10th. So that's this Saturday coming up. So Saturday the 10th. Vanessa and I then will be speaking. So we'll be excited. We'll actually be speakers at the Illinois Paranormal Conference in Rockford on September 14th. So if you guys are in the Rockford area, definitely check us out. There's going to be quite a few vendors there as well. So it's a really cool expo conference that they'll be having. And Vanessa and I are really excited to get the chance to be speakers. So we'll be talking about pretty much a lot of what we talked about today. A lot of our experiences and kind of getting the word out a little bit more on our podcast and, of course, our coffee. And then in October, we will be at the Haunted Rock Island Roadhouse Paracon again. So our favorite event of the year, which is always the Paracon. So we will be there. And like we've been hinting throughout the show, hauntedhappyhourqc.com. That is our website where you can buy our delicious coffee. So definitely check that out. And then, of course, we're on Facebook, Instagram, and
TikTok.
So
yep.
That's awesome.
Cherries and almonds. That sounds good, by the way.
That's what we said. Cherries and almonds. So, all right, ladies. Well, I'd like to thank you both for coming on the show tonight. It was great having you on. I love talking with you guys. And definitely when you're up at the Rock Island Roadhouse again, I might have to come up and
for sure. It's a good one. It's a good
great
one.
Well, and we'll see you again, Sean. I think in September, going up to what is it?
Broadhead.
Broadhead. Yep.
Yep.
Broadhead. So can't wait. We'll lay on the umbilical.
We'll have to film that one live, and we'll have to watch the thing.
Yes. Yes.
We're gonna have to take bets. Which one's gonna stay out here the longest?
Oh God!
But it's definitely interesting. You got to try it out. It's.
I think we're gonna have to.
We're gonna have to. Yeah.
It's definitely a weird feeling, but yes, it's definitely interesting. Like I said, thank you, ladies, for coming on the show tonight, and congratulations with everything you've done.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
I'm going to set you guys backstage, and I'm going to close out the show here, and I'll talk with you here in a few minutes.
Okay, sounds good.
Right. Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Yep. You're welcome, guys. Well, that was Lillian and Vanessa from Haunted Happy Hour Paranormal. Great team. You know, they've got a lot of stuff going on. They got some merchandise. They've got their coffee. They're really cool to be around. If you haven't ever been around them, go check them out. Go see them. Go see them at the conferences. Go see them like at the Rock Island Roadhouse, wherever they're at. I mean, they're always full of energy. They're happy, you know, and great to talk to. So next week, guys, we have Miss Shayna Page. She will be coming on the show. She's one of my overseas friends. She'll be coming on to talk about paranormal stuff that she's had and some of the activities she's had as well as an investigator. And we're looking forward to having her. Like I said, I also would like to thank Rockin' Randy, WROK Radio from Las Vegas, for sponsoring the show, and Tracy Jones, the Paranormal White Witch, and even Miss Suzanne Victoria for the great logo she's made back here behind me. I appreciate that, guys. And like I said, even Randy has made some great intro music for me for the show. It kicks ass. I mean, he does an amazing job. So if you're happen to look into wanting some intro music, I can hook you up with Randy. So, like I said, have a great day, everybody. And we will see you next weekend and Wednesday night. Check out Susan Victoria's show. I will be on there, and I will post that up on the page as well, so you can see that as well. So have a great night, everybody, and we will see you later.